Okay, so this talk is going to be a little bit different than some of the other ones because I have just written one middle-end optimization pass, and I just want to go through what it is and what it does because I don't think I've ever actually explained it before. I kept on promising on Earth that I was going to send out an email to the mailing list just as soon as I get this part done, and that never came. So this is a good opportunity for me to just go right ahead and explain just what it is. So first of all, why am I writing? Well, I came across a paper once with a bunch of examples for optimizers, and I found I was trolling for things that LLVM couldn't optimize. And I found this example, and I filed a bug on it because I love filing bugs. And I asked Chris about it. He said, well, the instruction combiner wouldn't really do this. See, but here's what's going on. As soon as we know that these two variables are not equal, we would return. So that means that for the rest of the function, they must be equal. If you dereference them, you're dereferencing equal pointers. You're going to get the same value out. But LLVM, as it ships today, is not bright enough to eliminate that function call, or the if statement. So I created a new optimization pass, which would do this. And it started to... If you look on power difference, yeah. That's my power, okay. Will it work? Yes. Okay. Now, this optimization, the Predicate Simplifier, is not actually turned on in LLVM 2.0. And there's a lot of reasons, really good reasons. You can't really see that, can you?
Blow it up.
No. It got bitmapped by yeah.
Oh, you can just explain it.
Yeah. This here is the first example in the Pred Simplifier regression test suite. And all it does is it checks and sees if x is equal to 0, branch to this basic block if it is, check and see if x is equal to 1. And if it is, I call a function named fail. So it's a regression test. I grep for fail in the end and make sure it's not there. You don't need Predicate Simplifier to simplify this. If you take simplify CFG and inst combine, the two of them will gang up on this type of code. First of all, simplify CFG will take this instruction here, the second equality test that checks x is equal to 1, it will hoist it up into the entry block. Instruction combiner will later come along and say, A means compare x with 0, B means compare x with 1. Well, we don't really need to have both of those, and it takes one of them out. This here is another example that I took from GCC's problem report 2, who knows. And what it's doing is a little more complicated. It's checking to see if n is 0. It goes into sort of two. I removed a couple of basic blocks here just for size. So it branches out to a block named const true, const false. Comes back in, final. And then it checks to see if the pointer, P0, which I checked earlier, is not null. And you can eliminate that null pointer check. And LLVM, once again, already knows how to do it. And it does this by simplifying the find node down to just a select statement in this particular case. So even though I've been working on Predicate Simplifier for a very long time now, and it's still unfinished, it still doesn't quite get much of a performance boost as I'd like it to. And I think the problem, which is a good problem for us to have, is that LLVM just optimizes so well without it.
It still doesn't get that case that started you off, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't.
couple motivational questions.
Sure.
First, what does VRP stand for?
It's a value range propagation.
Okay, so I think it's fine. So can you go back to the original code example that you wanted to optimize? So in this case, it doesn't really seem like an optimization problem. This is more like there's a dead code here.
Dead
right?
code elimination is optimization.
Well,
Like
in some cases, when there's a predicate here that's trivially true, and this probably implies that the programmer doesn't really know what the hell is going on.
Well, this could be the result of inlining, for example.
Okay, so this could be a result of some other pass.
Sure.
Or macro expansion, or
Sure.
some other optimization simplified it down.
Yeah. So,
Or assertion checking.
another good one.
Right.
Predicate Simplify currently has 3 working passes at the moment, and it basically breaks down into these 3 categories. Okay, so Predicate Simplify works as a walk through the program. It starts off at the entry block, and it works its way down, executing instruction by instruction, learning new things about the program as it goes. And so here I have one example. If we see a division instruction, we know after that instruction is complete that the dividend can't possibly have been 0. And the more common case is when we take a branch, and we looked at that in the motivational example, right? If we learn something from a branch statement, if there's a branch on bool B, well, one side's going to be true and on the other side's going to be false. And we can start keeping track of all of the different things that we've learned and start applying them. So if we learn, for example, we branch on B, B is the result of an instruction, x is equal to 0. Well, we want to take x and replace it with a 0. It's the same thing. So I call this step variable canonicalization. If we know that different variables are equal, we want to get rid of one of them because they're redundant. When replacing them, we choose constants because they have largest scope. I mean, if you look at a constant integer, that value pointer is shared across multiple programs. I mean, the second best is a global value or global variable, and those are, shared across the entire module, let's say. Second best choice would be an argument, because those are across an entire function. And then we want some kind of dominance relation. I'll detail a bit more later. We want whichever one has the largest scope in a C sense. The outermost scope of it. Right. So when we decide, for example, that x is equal to 0, we create a node in our inequality graph. Just for the 0, not for the x. So if we decide that x and y and z are all 0, there's just one node.